Northern Virginia Community College, EDU204, Teaching in a Diverse Society. Education that is multicultural. Presented by Program Head Ashley Wilkins. Presentation adapted from Chapter 11 in Multicultural Education in a Pluralistic Society by Golnick and Chen. Learning objectives. Identify goals for education that are multicultural. Place students at the center of teaching and learning, and believe that all students can learn. Create a classroom that promotes human rights and respects the cultures of students and their families. Create curriculum and implement teaching practices that are culturally responsive. Model social justice and equality in the classroom. Expand your knowledge and skills so you can deliver education that is multicultural. Knowledge of student cultures. Our knowledge about our students' cultures will allow us to make the academic content of our teaching more meaningful to students by relating it to their own experiences and building on their prior knowledge. Diversity and equity. Teaching that is multicultural requires the incorporation of diversity and equity throughout the learning process. All teaching should be multicultural, and all classrooms should be models of democracy, equity, and social justice. Teachers can place the student at the center of the teaching and learning. Establish a classroom that promotes human rights. And believe that all students can learn. In addition, teachers can acknowledge and build on the life histories and experiences of students and their families through culturally responsive teaching. Analyze oppression and power relationships in schools and society to understand racism, sexism, classism, heterosexism, ableism, and ageism, and model social justice and equity in the classroom and in interactions with students, families, and the community. Teachers can truly make a difference in their classrooms. Multicultural education is for all students. In addition, multicultural education teaches us about our similarities and differences as we struggle to provide equity for all people. Teachers must place students at the center of teaching and learning. Multicultural teachers seek to listen and incorporate the voices of their students, their families, and their communities into the classroom curriculum. Culturally responsive teaching requires educators to recognize the incongruence between the voice of the school and the voices of the students. Culturally responsive teachers engage students. Culturally responsive teaching encourages student participation, critical analysis, and action. Curriculum should engage students in collective action to improve their communities. Culturally responsive teachers adopt high expectations for all students. These teachers avoid generalizations based on stereotypes and group students heterogeneously, meaning all the students are different and are able to share their different strengths. Culturally responsive teachers care for all their students. The research is clear. Students perform better when they feel their teacher cares. Caring teachers are patient, persistent, and supportive. In a culturally responsive school, the staffing composition and patterns should reflect the diversity of the country and/or the region. Student government and extracurricular activities should include students from different cultural groups. Multiculturalism should be reflected in every aspect of the educational program. And discrimination against students from different cultural groups should not be tolerated. Hidden curriculum consists of unstated norms, values, and beliefs about social relations transmitted to students alongside the formal curriculum. The hidden curriculum impacts self-esteem, societal roles, and the acceptance of authority. While not explicitly taught, it significantly influences both students and teachers. The rules embedded in the hidden curriculum are often known to the dominant cultural group, potentially creating challenges for students from different cultures who may not be familiar with these norms. Teachers may subtly convey that certain home languages or behaviors are not acceptable in the classroom. Schools should reflect on the hidden curriculum being presented to students, allowing students to embrace both their home and school culture. Educators, often unknowingly, transmit biased messages to students due to internalized societal biases. Despite good intentions to treat all students fairly, teachers may unintentionally perpetuate stereotypes. Students of color may experience differential treatment compared to their white peers. This discrepancy is exacerbated when students from the dominant group receive more opportunities and praise. To address inequities, teachers must carefully examine their interactions and initiate changes to ensure fair treatment, regardless of cultural differences. The heart of the educational process is the teacher-student relationship. Teachers play a crucial role in shaping students' perception of their potential and ability to learn. The lack of strong connections, especially in large urban schools attended by low-income students of color, poses a problem. Observations by Gloria Ladson-Billings highlight successful teaching methods involving individual attention, student collaboration, and a supportive classroom environment that resembles an extended family. Lack of cross-cultural communication skills can hinder learning, with teacher-student interactions often focusing more on behavior than academic development. Misunderstandings arise from not recognizing cultural cues, affecting communication patterns and academic achievements. Rather than applying the same treatment to all students, we should work toward meeting individual needs. In addition, teachers should continually assess our interactions in the classroom and make changes as needed. Christopher Emden advocates for a reality pedagogy that prioritizes understanding the way students make sense of the classroom. The primary goal is to engage with each student on their cultural and emotional turf. In this approach, both teachers and students participate in co-teaching and cooperative learning, fostering deeper understandings of academic content and each other. Emden uses hip-hop, familiar to many urban students, to make classroom activities more engaging. He suggests the use of co-generative dialogues with a small group of students to enhance interest, participation, academic performance, and the overall classroom environment. Co-gen involves weekly meetings with a diverse group of students who discuss ways to improve instruction in the classroom setting. This process validates students' cultures, positioning them as experts. Although teachers may find student observations challenging, accepting direct feedback often leads to improved learning as students actively participate in shaping their education. Emden's book, For White Folks Who Teach in the Hood, and the rest of y'all too, reality pedagogy and urban education provides additional insights and guidance on implementing cogens in teaching. Cross-cultural communication skills are deemed essential because the way teachers talk to students can significantly influence academic engagement. Misunderstandings often arise from not recognizing cultural cues, affecting both language structure and oral discourse. Miscommunication occurs when the same words and actions mean something different to the individuals involved. Teachers who are aware of differences can redirect their instruction to use communications that work most effectively with students. Direct participation in different cultures enhances communication competency and cultural sensitivity. Awareness of these differences allows teachers to tailor instruction effectively. Teachers must vary treatment based on individual needs, ensuring no student is treated differently based solely on group membership. Teachers can analyze classroom interactions through video recordings, outside observations, or student feedback to identify any potential biases and ensure fair treatment of all students. Culturally responsive teaching, introduced by Gloria Ladson-Billings in the 1990s, is a vital pedagogy in multicultural education. It affirms students' cultures, considering them as strengths, and integrates cultural experiences into the teaching process. In culturally responsive teaching, students' cultural frames of reference become a lens through which the curriculum is delivered, making the content more relevant to their lives. Cultural differences are seen as learning assets, and students' ethnicity, race, and culture are valued, respected, and reflected in the curriculum, instructional strategies, and classroom climate. Multicultural curriculum supports and celebrates diversity in the broadest sense. It includes the histories, experiences, traditions, and cultures of students in the classroom. It extends beyond occasional celebrations, promoting awareness and understanding of the contributions of diverse groups. Some states and school districts are now mandating culturally inclusive curriculum, aiming to correct inaccuracies and misconceptions in textbooks. Multicultural curriculum should be inclusive of marginalized members of society. When you begin to teach multiculturally, allow extra planning time to discover ways to make the curriculum and instruction reflect diversity. Culturally responsive teaching enhances academic achievement by connecting subject matter to the cultural context and experiences of students. The approach emphasizes active student involvement, hands-on activities, exploration, experimentation, and the use of technology to engage learners. Understanding students' cultures is essential for developing relevant instructional strategies. Teachers are encouraged to ensure that the stories, projects, and activities in the classroom reflect the diversity of cultures, acknowledging and valuing the experiences of all students. The goal is to make the subject matter meaningful and relatable for all learners. Culturally responsive teaching involves exploring perspectives from diverse ethnic, religious, and socioeconomic groups. Exposure to movies, books, music, and comedians from different backgrounds expands cultural knowledge and provides varied views on local, national, and global issues. Children often ask questions about diversity and equity that adults may find uncomfortable. Teachers can turn these moments into teachable moments to discuss issues related to diversity, equity, and social justice, denouncing name-calling and harassment. As students progress to middle and high school, questions may become more complex, involving issues of learning disparities, teacher care, discipline discrepancies, gender expectations, and socioeconomic challenges. Teachers may feel uneasy addressing these topics due to complexity or fear of controversy. However, educators can address them in developmentally appropriate ways, fostering understanding and empowering students to speak up against inequities. Race is a challenging yet crucial topic to discuss, with white students often not recognizing racism's impact, while people of color experience its pressure. Ignoring racism in the curriculum neglects the experiences of those affected. Poverty is another difficult topic, often blamed on individuals, and teachers can help students explore systemic factors and various perspectives on economic disparities. It is essential for educators to facilitate dialogues about race and socioeconomic issues, fostering critical thinking and understanding. Incorporating multiple perspectives into the curriculum engages students in topics about which they care and develops critical thinking skills. Teachers are often uncomfortable addressing controversial issues such as powerlessness and inequity. It is important for teachers to help students understand why something happens and to provide skills for responding to difficult situations. Healing happens when educators are willing to facilitate dialogue about the difficult issues like race and poverty. Culturally sustaining pedagogy is an approach that recognizes and builds on students' multiple cultural histories and experiences. Unlike assimilationist models, culturally sustaining pedagogy allows students to be themselves in the classroom, viewing their cultures as assets to be nourished rather than deficits to be overcome. This pedagogy encourages students to critique the dominant culture and explore, honor, extend, and sometimes problematize their cultural practices. Teachers should understand the dynamic nature of young people's interactions with race, ethnicity, language, literacy, and culture, and incorporate student voices and stories into the curriculum. Hip-hop, a cultural practice for many urban youth, can be sustained and integrated into the learning process, but it should be critically examined for inclusivity and problematic practices. A disproportionately large number of students of color, English language learners, students with disabilities, and those from low-income families face challenges in meeting national standards and have higher dropout rates. This situation is not solely due to environmental factors. Teachers play a crucial role in helping all students learn. Factors contributing to disparities include low-level curricula, limited access to advanced courses, unqualified teachers, and a lack of inquiry-based experiences. Standardized test scores should not be used to label students as intellectually inferior, and teachers must take responsibility for their students' learning, recognizing the importance of effective teaching in student achievement. The adoption of deeper learning practices, treating students' unique identities as strengths, can help address and reverse these disparities. Social justice in education is a philosophy that advocates for fairness, economic and political equality, and the respect of human rights. Teachers promoting social justice confront stereotypes, provide equitable resources, have high expectations for students, and offer rigorous and meaningful curriculum to help develop social and cultural capital. Teaching multiculturally encourages critical thinking in students by challenging norms, prompting questions about the dominant culture, and exploring alternative perspectives on social inequities. Critical thinking skills empower students to question textbook knowledge, comprehend author biases, and seek diverse viewpoints. Social justice education instills a mindset of active questioning and research, seeking to balance textbook content and address biases and stereotypes. These teachable moments offer opportunities for discussions, dispelling myths about cultural groups and promoting accurate understanding. Socially just classrooms are democratic, engaging students in learning together and addressing power imbalances. A socially just curriculum helps students recognize biases, discriminations, and inequities, encouraging them to identify and work toward eliminating such issues both within the school and in the broader community. A socially just curriculum helps students recognize biases, discrimination, and inequities, encouraging them to identify and work toward eliminating such issues, both within the school and in the broader community. Teaching multiculturally promotes critical thinking in students, challenging established norms, encouraging questioning of the dominant culture, and exploring alternative perspectives to societal inequities. Critical thinking skills enable students to question the validity of textbook knowledge, to understand author perspectives and biases, and to seek diverse viewpoints. Social justice education fosters a mindset where students actively question and research, aiming to balance textbook content and confront biases and stereotypes. These teachable moments provide opportunities for discussion and dispel the myths about cultural groups, fostering accurate understanding. Multicultural teaching requires students to investigate racism, classism, and sexism, and how societal institutions have served different populations in discriminatory ways. Educators can help students examine their own biases and stereotypes related to different cultural groups. In social justice education, meaningful projects address equity, democratic practices, and social issues in the community. Teachers should ensure that students are integrated into cooperative groups and group work. Democratic classrooms involve students in shared decision-making, understanding their rights and responsibilities. These classrooms foster the exchange of ideas from diverse perspectives, building individual and collective problem-solving skills. Teachers engage students in analyzing real-world issues, promoting democratic values as a way of life. A democratic curriculum respects cultural differences, integrates multiple perspectives, and encourages openness to controversial topics. It promotes harmonious relationships and conflict resolution, with students having some control over their studies. Democratic behavior, practiced through activities like morning meetings and student government, develops over time, contributing to lifelong democratic participation. Democratic schools eliminate inequities, emphasizing cooperation and concern for the common good, fostering active community involvement. Although establishing democratic classrooms or schools can face resistance, it is crucial for nurturing an understanding of and commitment to democracy in young people. In order to prepare to deliver education that is multicultural, you must know your own cultural identity and the degree to which you identify with various groups of which you are a member. You must acknowledge that you have prejudices that may affect the way you interact with your students. and you must develop strategies to overcome or compensate for your prejudices in the classroom. To prepare for delivering multicultural education, educators can take several actions. First, they should understand their own cultural identity and acknowledge any prejudices that may impact interactions with students and parents. Recognizing biases allows for the development of strategies to overcome or compensate for them. Knowing one's cultural background and understanding personal biases are crucial steps. Expanding cultural competence involves learning about groups beyond one's own. This can include reading about different cultures, attending cultural events, and interacting with people from diverse backgrounds. Long-term cultural experiences are effective in overcoming misconceptions and fears about a group. It is essential to interact with individuals from diverse backgrounds, keeping in mind that there is significant diversity within any group. Unconscious biases, such as racial, ethnic, or gender biases, are common and may lead to preferential treatment. Recognizing and addressing biases, discrimination, and inequity is crucial. Teachers should study these issues in a societal context and actively support bias-free, discrimination-free environments. Acknowledging the existence of racism and understanding its impact is essential for effectively serving communities of color. Educators should critically examine their interactions with peers and students of color, reflecting on their experiences and perspectives. Becoming a multicultural teacher requires a commitment to change, with a focus on social justice. To deliver multicultural education effectively, educators must engage in continual reflection on their classroom practices. Multicultural educators prioritize accurate portrayals of diversity in textbooks and curriculum, questioning practices that contribute to disparities, such as disproportionate suspension rates and uneven representation in gifted programs. Think about the ways you can use the students' culture to help them learn the subjects and skills you are teaching. Multicultural educators address issues of racism, sexism, heterosexism, and ableism, correcting their behavior when biases become apparent. Continuous observation of interactions with individuals from diverse cultures is crucial, and educators should leverage students' cultural backgrounds to enhance learning. Reflecting on classroom effectiveness allows for continuous improvement. Implementing multicultural education requires courage and tenacity, including the courage to avoid blaming students for school failures and the tenacity to pursue high-level performance for underachieving students. Teachers who teach for multiculturalism support democratic and equitable societies while working for equity, democracy, and social justice. In conclusion, our journey through this course on multicultural education has been illuminating and transformative. We've explored the challenges and significance of integrating diverse perspectives into teaching, recognizing the intricacies of addressing varied cultural backgrounds. As educators, we've learned the importance of a nuanced approach, actively infusing multiculturalism into our interactions, lesson plans, and assignments. By embracing the role of enthusiastic learners, we've committed to appreciating the richness that diverse cultural perspectives bring to our classroom. The course has underscored the essential need for understanding and respecting the cultural identities of our students. The adoption of an anthropological approach has been a key takeaway, encouraging us to observe, listen, study other cultures, and engage in community activities. This approach, we've learned, is instrumental in making academic content meaningful and ensuring that our students can reach their full potential without sacrificing their cultural identities. As we conclude, let's carry forward the insights gained from this course into our classrooms, fostering environments that celebrate diversity and promote inclusive learning. Through our commitment to multicultural education, we contribute not only to the academic growth of our students, but also to the development of a more inclusive and understanding society. Thank you for your engagement and dedication throughout this course. Best wishes as you continue your journey as a culturally responsive educator.